Hey, Sean, are you ready?
I'm as ready as Michigan State was yesterday.
Ouch. Low blow.
It's a little too soon, but I used to live near there, so I'm allowed to make fun of them.
Well,
sorry to all my cousins who went to that school.
I guess that's
the
okay.
Team let you down.
I guess that's okay. But let's go ahead and get into March Madness. Welcome, everyone. We are your Nerd Sherpas, here to take you across the frozen wastes of geekdom as we talk about everything from comics to games, and sometimes basketball, I suppose.
We're going to, expanding the scope of what nerdy things are. I'm taking you to the sports nerd side, the sport dork side.
We are nerding. We're nerding on in a different way now.
Nerd on.
Time to nerd on. All right, Sean. So this is going to be a totally different episode for us.
Yes.
I'm Jacob. This is Sean. It's going to be a completely new avenue of sherping through nerdy things.
Most of the things that we've covered so far have been more you kind of bringing me into the fold and stuff. But this one, it's kind of more my domain, my territory, sports, and specifically sports betting. Finally gave you a little taste about how much fun it is to bet on the outcomes of sport games.
You did. And just to precurse anybody saying betting's illegal, gambling's illegal, we're betting in Sherpa bucks.
It's illegal, but that's what makes it so much fun.
It's illegal, exactly. Right. That's why people fly to Vegas.
No actual cash. Yeah. It was pure Sherpa bucks we developed just for this.
The Sherpa buck exchange ratio, though, we are still establishing, but it's something like
better than Bitcoin. We're hoping China or Russia will, give us.
We'll start backing the Sherpa buck,
and it'll be fine.
Yeah,
and then
it'll be great.
Take off from there.
So March Madness is a huge thing, and everybody. It feels like everybody in the world knows about it. With the exception of me.
At least,
I don't.
At least in this country, I would say people know about it.
Yeah. Well, I think internationally it's become a thing too.
And it's in the workplace, there's always usually some kind of work pool. So even people who aren't into basketball, don't even follow basketball, will get into it. And to tell you the truth, I'm actually one of those people. I follow a lot of sports. College basketball is actually I don't really pay attention other than headline stuff. And then once the tournament rolls around,
March Madness starts,
and that's when you're a kid in a candy store, and I love it. It's just sports all day long, the entire day, and it is great.
So I've got a couple of questions to get us started. First and foremost, what is it about March Madness that makes it so unique in terms of a sporting tournament?
What makes it so great is that there's a lot of teams. There's 64 teams, or there's even more if you count the other playing games, but I don't. Let's just call it 64. And it's one and done, and that really isn't done in a lot of other sports.
Yep.
Usually, it's at least in the professional ones, it's all except for football. It's a series, and then this one is just one and done. So a lot of times the best teams don't always necessarily win it.
So when you say one and done, one of the things that I'm
that's a great opportunity to explain.
I am totally going to admit to I actually don't know. Does the March Madness tournament result in the NCAA college basketball champion?
It does,
okay.
Yes.
So it's not two separate
64 teams, down to 32, down to 16, down to 8, down to the final four,
and then
the
winner.
2, and then the winner. Yeah.
What do they call the 2? Do the 2 have a...
They just call it the championship.
Yeah. That's boring.
Right.
The Final Four, the Hateful Eight, the Dirty 16.
The How Do You Do 2, or the Poo Poo 2.
The Poo Poo 2. The Duke 2.
That's my team is going to be playing in the Poo Poo 2, which didn't make the tournament. But I'm still wearing their colors. Yay.
Fair enough. So there is now this big machine around March Madness and around college basketball.
Perpetual marketing machine, yes.
That really is not there for... I guess it's kind of there for NCAA football, but
it's
really no other college sports.
It's different. The bowl games are becoming less popular. It seems like the NCAA tournament is becoming more popular. But probably actually have numbers and facts to back that up.
To dip into my one bit of knowledge about college sports, it's probably because the BCS system sucks, and that's why they've been making changes to it lately.
They have, and they do have the playoff now, but it's 4 teams.
Yeah.
And ideally, I'd like to see it get up to they do 32 teams or 16 teams or something to try to mimic what the tournament.
So is it the fact that it's like you said, a one and done quick churn tournament, and it happens really quick.
And it happens really quick. What I love about the first 2 games as well is that there's just games the entire day, and when one game's ending, you just go right into the next one, and it's just so much fun.
So that previously, this is my first time really paying attention to the tournament. I mean, I was just aware of from the point of picking a bracket the one time I did it to looking at the end result and seeing how horribly off I was. the beginning of the tournament's really quick, and you have a ton of games. Like yesterday, we watched 5 or 6 games together.
And then we watched.
Yeah. And then we were just listening.
We built a little sports bar in our own house. We had all had the TV, the laptop, the tablet, all lined up.
So does it start to space out a little bit as the tournament goes on?
Well, now there's not as much overlap. Yeah. There's only going to be there's only 8 games today and 8 games tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
But
which we're totally not paying attention to the games today.
Oh, I was. That's why I was a little late, because I was watching the end of the Wichita Miami.
Got caught up in that one?
Yeah, I did.
So maybe we should tell people what we've been doing. So first and foremost, we went through and picked brackets.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're tied right now?
Last I looked,
but you are in a better position because I did pick Michigan State to win it all.
Yeah.
And
now both of your brackets, even your secondary with Texas.
Yeah, so that was
weird robot bracket.
That was a separate one. Yeah, so ESPN has this thing. It's called Smart Bracket, and you just had some kind of algorithm in it.
It intelligently picks the shittiest bracket ever.
This smart computer thing was pulling shit out of its ass.
Yeah.
It gave me Texas. Texas was 75-1 odds to win the championship. So they were 6 seed.
That's a good point.
Oh, what does that mean?
Yeah, describe how the odds
for in that sense, 75-1. If you bet $1 on the University of Texas, and assuming they didn't lose on a half-court buzzer beater, which we'll talk about later, if they were to win it, you'd win $75 in return, including also getting your dollar back. So you're really getting 76.
So there's the odds, and then what about point spreads? How do those affect?
So the point spreads is just specifically for the game.
Yeah.
So we'll what was the game from yesterday that we
took Stephen F. Austin game.
That's it. Yeah. So we had a watch party.
Mm-hmm. We did.
Goes out to Megan. It was a great night.
Yeah. Go Lumberjacks. Woohoo.
Go Lumberjacks. Purple Lumberjack, the most manliest mascot there is. I'm a fan. I hope Stephen F. Austin goes all the way. That's who I'm rooting for now.
Now you're pulling for the Lumberjacks?
Yeah.
Do we need to do a refactored bracket so you have the Lumberjacks going?
Yeah.
100% Lumberjack.
They're even beating themselves in some of it. Yeah.
So in terms of betting, how does I'd assume that if you're looking at the the point split, that actually can impact how much additional money you get from making certain bets.
Potentially,
or do you make specific bets on the splits, or
Vegas and any type of gambling, they will find any creative way to take as much of your money as possible.
To get your money.
So you can pretty much bet on anything. You can bet on who's the first player that's going to score a point.
Yeah.
You can bet the best one, which in the tournament, the first 2 days, they have a bet: will there be a buzzer beater shot?
Yeah.
And that's basically like yes, or you're against having fun. You're that guy. Yeah.
You're the.
Yesterday there was 3 buzzer beaters. So.
You're the person that doesn't like drinking that shows up to the party.
And it's funny. It happens most of the time. I think you get better odds if you say no, but. Who wants to say no? Everyone wants to see.
Everybody wants to. Yeah. It's that first inaugural bet, right? It's kind of like whacking a ship with a champagne bottle or something. It just sends it off and.
I want to have fun. Yeah. I'm going to enjoy myself.
So you've actually had some experience doing sports betting in the past.
I do.
You've been to Vegas and done it.
Yeah, we used to. So I lived in California, Southern California. So not too far, only a couple-hour drive from Vegas. And Rachel's family, they go every year. In fact, this has been the 10th year in a row that they've done it.
Really?
Yeah, I think I've only made it 4 or 5 of the times, but
they go for March Madness.
They go just for the first 2 days. Yeah,
for the first 2 days.
Yeah, maybe they'll stay around an extra day or 2.
So what is because you've done it before? Is Vegas just like a titter with all of these sports bettors that flock in?
It is. Yeah, it is. It is Sausage Fest.
Yeah,
no, totally.
Sausage Fest 2016.
It's like 90% guys. Yeah,
that are just all there with their buddies.
Usually we stay at a place called South Point, which is actually not on the Strip. It's a little outside there, but. You get really good deals, and I mean they just put you in just a giant auditorium, and I mean they got screens all over this whole thing, and I mean you got them everywhere. You can watch all 4 games at once.
Like they've made it an industry.
Oh yeah, they bring in so usually you have to go downstairs to the sports betting floor. They actually bring the thing up to you, so you don't have to actually wander your way around the big casino.
Nice.
So they make it very easy for you to waste all your money. And another thing you probably don't know, if you do it right, some of them get a little stingy. But you can get free drinks when you're betting too. Yeah. So you just keep going. They'll try to only give you 1 or 2, even if you make a bunch of bets. So the key is just make 1 or 2 bets, get back in the line, just keep getting your free drink coupons.
All right.
You shouldn't have to pay for any drinks while you're there.
You should,
especially if you're betting on all the games.
That's for sure. You should never have to pay for booze in Vegas.
Period. Never. No. Never.
reduces the inhibitions. And
really, I'm doing them a favor by
makes you a lot better.
I'm trying to make sure that they can take
a lot better gambler. So, and that's actually something that I wanted to talk about is March Madness is obviously a thing. Like, it's a huge thing. Yeah. Everybody knows about it, and people are making a ton of money. I can imagine between the ads on television, between like merchandise, between watching. Like, I'm sure they do partnerships with schools and stadiums and stuff to do big parties and stuff. Like, how much of that money actually going? Where does this money go?
It's not going to the athletes, that is for sure. Although there's legislation and stuff now. It looks like there's so much money involved in it now that it got to a point where it's like they can't justify not giving athletes something. And
they've found I know a little bit more about football because I've done some sports economics, but with football, building stadiums, stuff like that, doesn't always result in a net positive for schools.
No, a lot of times.
Does basketball?
Basketball
are the economics any different?
Cheaper to run the team and
you have fewer people, smaller stadiums.
But even with that being said, I think there's been people who have tried to make the jump into Division One because if you get in the tournament, it's just so much publicity for your school. But it doesn't always work out that well, and then they have to incur a whole bunch of debt, and then they pass it on to the students.
So what does it take to become? Because that's actually another thing I didn't know. I didn't know that March Madness were only Division I schools. So it's only Division I,
right?
And what does it take to get up there?
So for
size of your program, or
it's basically like there's several divisions in college basketball, and then there's like your majors, which is the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC. Then you have your mid-majors like the Patriot League and the Mid-Atlantic Conference, and there's tons of them.
All these other bush
So that's
leagues.
how like all those teams like Stony Brook and stuff get in because they win their division. And so whenever you win one of those divisions, you automatically get a bid. And so I can't remember how many divisions there are, but I think it's like 12, 16, somewhere around there. So then all the other ones are filled by at-large bids. And basically, if you're in the top 25, you're going to get in. Probably the top 30, 35 teams. It's basically at the end when people start like what's the last few teams people have to vote on, and it's basically decided on what you did during that year. They want to see you playing a lot of strong teams, and they want to see you winning against some of those strong teams. So it's not
that's how you actually end up in the
so a lot of times too, if you're in a mid-major record and you beat up on your division but you don't really do anything else, assuming you win it, you'll get in. But if you don't, they might not. They might lean more toward the team that doesn't have the best overall record, but they play more tougher teams. Yeah. And they're trying to get the best teams as possible as they can.
So in general, because one of the other things you notice when you're watching March Madness games is that everybody has a number going into it under their name. So, Kansas has their a 1 seat, right? Those are all determined by those games that lead up to.
It's determined by the committee that votes everyone in.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like the BCS then, to where they vote, or is it more based on stats of games, or
they vote on it? It's kind of
do they stick their finger in the air and just go yes?
They just throw darts.
Stephen F. Austin will be the best
Middle
team.
Tennessee, yes.
14 seats this year.
Let's put them against Michigan State. I like their odds.
Yeah,
they were right.
Yeah. So that's another thing. How do they? Because for the most part, I've seen that similarly rated teams tend to play similarly rated teams relatively early on.
Yeah.
But how do they decide who plays who?
They basically it's a ranking. They're trying. So if you are one of the number 1 seeds, one of the best teams in the country, they're going to reward you for what you did during the year, and the reward is you, in theory, get to play a team that's
the worst
not
team
good.
Possible.
Yeah. You're going to play 4 of the worst teams in the tournament. So that's how it breaks down. But then it gets complicated because Middle Tennessee was a 15 seed, but there are some people who are like, well, they're kind of better than a 15. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's 14 or 13, which is still not that good.
What does that mean?
Right? Yeah. But how they vote, it's a committee, and then they pick it out and they just figure. Yeah.
Okay. And then as the tournament progresses, obviously the field gets smaller and everything.
Yeah.
And right now they're doing games at a bunch of different stadiums. Like, do they start to consolidate?
Yeah,
how does that work?
They keep switching each round, and it's one thing that I've always thought was kind of interesting. I guess they're trying to create neutral courts, which in theory, because they don't want to give one team necessarily a home advantage. But it's always bizarre. Like, they'll have East Coast teams going to the West Coast. And it stinks because that's going to be really hard to get your fans to travel with you.
Yeah.
So then you're kind of like at the mercy of just the people in an area. Are there enough?
They honestly don't make that much money off of ticket sales during March Madness, right? They're making
TV
is where they
by far, yeah.
And radio and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is it about March Madness that gives you the madness? What makes you mad about March Madness?
What I get into it so much is that I would have to say it's probably the upsets. I love the first round in particular because there are so many. Yesterday set the record for most lower seeds beating top seeds. I can't remember if it was 10 or 12. But it was, if you liked underdogs, this has been a wonderful 2 days.
Yeah, Nate Silver's 538 predictions are not doing so hot right now.
No. Mine actually aren't so bad, except Michigan State. But we don't need to talk about that.
No. Luckily, I'm taking Kansas State, Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
You're taking Kansas.
Kansas, sorry. Yes. Kansas, not Kansas State. I would be hung at the stake or whatever.
Yeah,
for that.
Fighting words when you're in the
I'm taking Kansas, Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
There you go. You got that part right.
Yeah, well, I actually had a psychology professor in my undergrad that was a Jayhawk, and he told us about it all the time, and he was a really cool dude. So
you're like, what is a rock chalk?
What is it? What does this Jayhawk rock chalk? I don't understand
is it
this.
Stone?
Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to find out.
We'll look it up later.
That'll be a special bulletin.
That'll be our own
nerd bulletin.
We'll do our own episode. We'll figure out what's a rock chalk, what's a Hoosier, what's a Hoya.
I know what a Buckeye is at least. So.
I do know the Buckeye, yeah.
But so we're to the point now where we're through the first round, right?
Yes, today is the start of the second.
Okay, cool. So we're starting the second round. So what are the things as the field starts to narrow and there are fewer teams around? What do you start to see more of the teams you expect to do well to continue to do well, or do upsets continue beyond this? Like
upsets do continue, probably not as prevalent as the first 2 days, especially because they set a record yesterday, so it seems like it can only really go down from there. But you never know.
You never know. Yep.
There might not be truly at Michigan State. They were considered they had the second best odds to win. Yeah. They just got knocked out, so there might not be that truly dominant of a team. So I guess that goes well for other seeds. But yeah, I guess over time it starts to kind of balance it out. But with that being said, there's only been one time in the history of the tournament where all 4 number 1 seeds made it to the Final Four.
Really?
So it's actually pretty rare for that to happen.
Well, that actually makes it a lot more exciting.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I found interesting about this whole thing is as you go through and you start doing more and more research about the teams and the players and the tournament and how everything works, statistics and modeling and all of the things that I love are at the heart of this.
And that's where it's kind of like here,
so it's literally D&D for jocks.
Totally. It is. And it's kind of like a melding of the nerd and the jock culture. It's like there's things for both people. Yeah.
So I've really enjoyed being able to look at the stats, and as much as I just picked on Nate Silver's 538 predictions.
He's doing all right for himself.
I've been using them left and right.
He's predicted enough things right.
Because he's doing good. And also my AI predictions, they made you pay for them. So I wasn't going to pay for AI predictions to a game where...
Especially if I had to pay money for when it told me to pick Texas, I'd be pissed.
Oh, yeah, you should be pissed if that happened. So... But I always knew that statisticians and bookies and bet makers had done a lot of work around this. But to see how deep it goes and how many organizations get super fine grained into the stats and all the different things that this has never happened or this is X likelihood to happen. Basically, there is a stat for everything that's going on right now. And that's really interesting to me. So, but
it's come a long way. Just even in the last 10 years. It was only really kind of some people were starting to kind of do it. And if you've seen the movie Moneyball, then it's a little exaggerated, but essentially it is. It's why are we going to listen to computers? They're going to trust my own eyes. But then they started proving no, this stuff actually it works. It makes sense.
Yeah. So. How has March Madness and the NCAA tournament changed over time? Because I do feel like the din, the noise surrounding it is just growing exponentially.
It's gotten more popular as time goes on. But at the same time, there is, for people who really love college basketball, there's a little disappointment because they just feel that the tournament itself overall is not as strong as it's been in the past. Yeah. And that's because the top players, only have to stay in college for a year. And then usually they're gone after
drafted,
that.
Right?
So it's hard to keep a team with premier talent for more than really a year, even.
But that works out. That works out to its favor though, because they can get more exciting games out of it, right?
And that's sort of where maybe part of the it's maybe not for the people who are really in college basketball. For people who are just kind of on the outside, and I would consider myself that way, it does allow for more upsets because you can have a team that, like a Stephen F. Austin, that has been together for 3 or 4 years, and they have been able to practice, and they've developed more of a rapport with each other.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, it does seem like it's made smaller programs better, but it's at the expense of weakening the better programs.
Fair enough.
I personally don't have a problem with it because I just like the chaos of the tournament more than anything.
It is,
but if you
very
like
much
just pure basketball talent, some people are a little disappointed.
It is absolutely controlled chaos, and that's what's actually once again interesting about it to me. So.
And it's not necessarily. It's not like the best team doesn't necessarily win the tournament.
No.
And it's kind of a crapshoot. Even Kentucky last year when they were undefeated, I mean, they were.
Didn't they lose right at the very end?
They lost, I think it was the Final Four.
Yeah. I remember that being a huge deal.
It was. And I mean, even then, they only had it was like kind of even odds to win the whole thing to go undefeated, and that's it. I mean,
going undefeated is so uncommon, anyways.
Very uncommon.
The more you are undefeated, or the longer you are.
It was an acknowledgement that even as great as they were, this is one of the best teams in years in college basketball, and they were like, they got like a.
You can get upset.
50% chance of winning it all.
So. Well, in closing, what are some of the things that we should look to as we get into the next couple of rounds? Like what?
Well, I'll just comment too. Like, so yesterday was there was the 3 buzzer beaters. Yeah. One of them is going to live on in like NCAA.
You think so?
It'll be they'll be showing the replay of the Northern Iowa Texas game, the half court shot to win it. There's been plenty of buzzer beaters. There's the closest one. There's a few years ago, actually more than a few years ago. Valparaiso had one that was well beyond the 3-point line, but not half court. It was kind of like in between.
Yeah.
But this one was full on half court.
Just straight half court.
Just nailed it. Yeah. And they weren't expected to win anyways. So
I wonder if somebody had a bet on a half court shot
to
clinch a game against Texas.
Vegas
and
probably,
it's like a $15 million bet.
I wonder, Vegas might. And I'm sure they'd be willing to take your money because, again, it hasn't happened before. So,
I mean, that's... Yeah, you're definitely playing the odds eventually.
So we have that. We have one of the most memorable shots from NCAA tournament happened yesterday, and then also one of the biggest upsets. It was Michigan State. Yeah. Been reading different things, trying to say how big of an upset was it. Was it the biggest tournament upset ever? And there's some debate for it based on terms of the overall talent of the team. Mm-hmm. Michigan State. Using 538, they use a thing called ELO ratings, which I'm not exactly sure how it all works, but essentially they take everything that they've done. It's also it's who you play and how much you beat them by. And they get this number. Michigan State, according to that, was the most talented team to ever lose in the first round.
That's interesting.
It was not, however, the biggest upset spread. Yeah. That was in 2012. Norfolk State beat Missouri, and they were 21.5-point underdogs.
Wow.
So that was, in terms of a point spread, that was the biggest upset win ever. Mm-hmm. But Michigan State was considered the better team. So yesterday was a great day for history for the NCAA tournament. There'll be 2 games that will stand the test of time that people will remember.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool.
Well, that is cool. I'm glad that we got to participate in it and watch it and experience the hype.
Yeah.
The hype monster.
So where does the NCAA tournament go from here?
That's a good question. Yeah, where does it go?
I know it doesn't involve Michigan State, so
my
bracket is busted. Yeah. I know. Take my iPad, smash it on the ground.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, I didn't. It's funny. I thought I was doing horrible, and I looked, and it's actually not that bad because I did pick enough upsets. But
well, that's good.
There's only so far I can really go from here.
I had a handful of upsets. I just randomly chose upsets.
That's the best way to do it. Throwing darts.
Just throwing those darts.
So from here, I guess, who do I think will win, or who am I rooting for?
Who are you rooting for now that you're...
Stephen F. Austin has a special place in my heart. That's for you, Megan. Go Lumberjacks. I hope they...
Chopping that wood.
At least win another one. You never know. I don't think they can go too much further.
Did you look to see how far they had made it in? Because they've been in MC.
They've won. I think they lost the last. Yeah, I don't think they've ever made a Sweet 16. I don't know that for certain, but
okay, cool.
But you're right. They have been here before. Huh. So I'd like to see them
Exciting
win. Villanova is another team because I know someone. She went there. Huge college basketball fan, and so I picked them to go to the final. So probably rooting for them to do well. Kansas would still be the odds-on favorite.
Kansas
they're considered
is where
a
I'm
very
gonna have
deep
to.
team. Yeah, and that's who you're
I'm
going
gonna have to. I mean, well, and my only other option, I would have gone Texas. Like that's my.
that was, yeah.
You know, that's the one that I would go with. So yeah, no, I'm
Maybe
just
you
down.
were behind
down
that
to Kansas.
supercomputer bracket.
Maybe
You're
I was
pick
behind.
Texas.
Pick Texas. Texas is the right way to go.
Yeah.
So, well, any parting thoughts on March Madness?
It's been fun. So, we should tally. So we did bet on every single game. Again, it wasn't real money. It was Sherpa bucks, which is better than real money, to be quite honest.
When
the
dollars
final
in the
tally,
tanker,
32 potential Sherpa bucks could have been won yesterday.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, one of us had more than the other. And it was this guy. He wins 17 Sherpa bucks to 16 Sherpa bucks.
And we will have to pick up on the rest of the games today to see
Yes.
where we end up because we've missed a couple. So, but yeah,
I would have picked Wichita State, and so I would have lost that game. But since
We'll
we never
just
officially
historical losses.
I should have. Oh no, I meant
losses.
Miami,
I
right? Now I'm on record
Miami.
saying it.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, once you're on record, you're set.
Yeah.
So. I'm just excited to continue to watch it with you.
Yeah.
I think it's been fun, and I actually give a squat about that.
And now that you know how to gamble,
now that I know how to
next
gamble,
year we're gonna
we
be
can go
doing
to
this
Vegas,
live
in
from
Vegas. Sherpa meetup live in Vegas.
Periscoping the whole thing.
So to close us out, I actually will drop a ball on you.
Oh.
Basketball is absolutely my least favorite sport. In fact, I kind of honestly hate basketball to a certain degree. But I'm having a lot of fun doing this. So maybe you're breaking that cold, dark, anti-basketball coding that surrounds my heart.
I would like to take credit for it, but I honestly think it has more to do with the gambling. Gambling makes everything fun. Everything.
Gambling and statistics.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I guess that's it. You like statistics, and I like wasting money. So.
Exactly. So
it's the match made in heaven.
With our powers combined, we are broke. So,
but yeah, looking forward to it. We do need to pick some more games. We'll pretend we both got the ones that we didn't pick right today.
Exactly.
We'll just count those as victories for ourselves.
Yeah,
So.
Which is exactly how the American government does it. So
yeah.
Well, to close us out for the day, you can find us on Twitter at Nerd Sherpas TV. You can check us out and like us. Please like our page on Facebook. That way we can start getting more of you wonderful viewers. And that's Nerd Sherpas TV also on Facebook. And you are obviously watching our video right now, so I need you to do me a favor. And there's a subscribe button right up top, or depending on how you have your video set up, might be below or to the side or somewhere, but it's somewhere around here right now.
Yeah.
Click on that subscribe button, because the more subscribers that we get, the more likely we are to get picked up on their search algorithms and all that crap that happens. But also,
and the more our budget goes up, we can start affording like special effects.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
But
stuntmen.
More important, I need to stunt me for these episodes when I'm not sure what to talk about.
At the end of each episode, we should be like exploding out of the chairs.
Just pull our masks off, and it's actually somebody else underneath. But subscribe, like the video, do all of that stuff, because it helps us, and it will also help us get to the point where we can actually do a branded channel, which is a big deal for getting these videos watched.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, until next time, Sean, nerd on.
Nerd on.
Nerd on, everybody.
Blessings. It loves me.
Are you actually recording?
We're actually recording now.
It loves me.
And
So we can scene and clip, tape.
Nerd Sherpas, Handsome Adventures, take one.
We started our Handsome Adventures a long time ago.
Yeah, this is the prequel.
This is we're shooting a prequel.
How we became so handsome.
Well, that's
a story.
I
that
mean,
needs
for
to be
that,
told.
we'll almost have to go back in time. We'll have to throw in a cool effect there and cut that out.